Hello guys, this is Yuri from Thephonefiend, and today we're going to be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy S2. This is the international version, and it's been out for a few months. However, the US versions have only been announced recently, and they will be coming out maybe within the next 2 months. The retail price of this phone is currently $700. It is one of the most expensive phones on the market right now. And the US versions, the prices are currently unknown, but we do know that there's going to be a few differences between each of the carriers. For example, T-Mobile is going to have a 4.5-inch display with like a 1.4 gigahertz dual core processor. But coming back to this phone is quite the powerhouse actually. But first, let me talk about its hardware and its physical features. It features a 4.3 inch Super AMOLED Plus display that has 480 by 800 pixels. The screen is very sharp and looks very nice. You can't say enough nice things about it. On the front, you see here, it did away with the search button, and all you see is when it's off, you can't see it, but when it's on, the back button lines up and the menu button, and then the home button was replaced by this just dedicated button, kind of like an iPhone. You can see here. On the front, you have a 2-megapixel camera in the front. Your sensors, it actually has two sensors, one on the top, one on the bottom, and not sensors, just microphones, and it greatly improves the quality of your voice when you're speaking with somebody on the phone. So it makes you sound very, very good. People on the other side were telling me that they couldn't even believe that I was talking to them on the cell phone. The speaker itself is also very nice, and especially the one on the back. It's very loud and very fluent. Like watching movies in it is no problem. Usually you have to put the phone down and have the sound bounce off the surface for you to actually hear anything. This one, you just hold it and you will hear everything perfectly. Another thing, let me show. The power button is actually on the side, which is very annoying. Usually, since most phones have it on the top, your first instinct when you turn on or turn off the phone is go to the top, and you're like, where is it? What's going on? Why can't I turn it on? But I actually made it so when you press the home button, it actually turns it on. They also made the mini USB plug on the bottom, which is another plus, as the same thing as the G2X. Thank you, Samsung. It has an 8-megapixel camera with a single LED flash, and it is a very good camera. It takes splendid pictures. It's one of the better cameras on any cell phone out right now. What else? You got the volume rockers, and again, no dedicated camera button, which I think I missed that. Most phones that were released a year ago had dedicated camera buttons, but now it's all touchscreen. Alright, let me just take the back cover off for you. Like your nail in there and just pops right off. The back cover is very flimsy. It is just a thin piece of plastic and just feels very cheap. The battery itself is a 1650 milliampere battery, and it provides quite a decent battery life. Props to Samsung to really step up their game and improve the battery life, because the last few years the battery life has just been getting worse and worse. We started with those old flip phones that could last days. Then we went down to smartphones that last a few hours. But now I'm starting to feel that we're coming back up. I remember last year when I would go to school, I would have to bring my charger with me, because if I did any sort of gaming or reading, the phone just died within a few hours. So I'm really glad that manufacturers are starting to improve the battery life. In the back, you also see the micro SD slot. The phone does not come with a micro SD, but it does, however, have 16 gigabytes of built-in memory, which is good. Let me put that back on for you. Alright. Next thing I want to mention is just, well, the appearance of the phone. It looks quite nice, actually. Last video I mentioned how most Samsung's phones don't look too good. They look a little childish or I don't know, I would say trendy, but this phone looks actually very professional, and it feels very nice in the hand. It is very light, and it's quite thin. Over here you see G2X that we reviewed in our last video, and you could just tell the size difference. Also, the G2X is actually a lot heavier. You just holding it in your hand. The Samsung Galaxy X2 is bigger, but it's lighter, which is actually quite amazing. Alright, so let's just jump right into the software. This phone is running on Android 2.33 with Samsung's custom operating slash launcher TouchWiz 4.0. One thing I'll say about TouchWiz is I don't really like it, just to put it bluntly. It is similar to Sense, and it's meant to make it prettier, more user-friendly, but I prefer Sense over this. Sense is more, it is prettier, and it is much more customizable. Just like in the lock screen is just horrible. Look at this. All it is a picture that you take and you just have to slide off screen. I understand the TouchWiz has been out for a while, but come on, they could definitely improve that. Another thing that I noticed is when I first opened this phone is this phone is trying too hard to be like the iPhone. Just the same. The icons look very similar to the iPhone. They're almost as if they're styled after it. Also, it's same thing with like the first screen, and then you scroll to the right, and then you have all your screens after that. Personally, I just don't think that Samsung went in the right direction with that. It's just trying to be the iPhone too much, and I personally don't like it. If I could, I would entirely take TouchWiz off, and I probably will, because you could always download, like I said before, you could download ADW or Launcher Pro, which are very similar to the vanilla Android, just a lot more customizable. But then, you know, TouchWiz isn't horrible, but it's not great. So I'd Sense or vanilla all the way. Alright, the first thing that you're gonna notice after playing with the phone for a few minutes is the speed. The speed of this phone is just unbelievable. It is definitely one of the fastest phones that I've ever used. It is also very smooth. But one thing I have to point out is that the G2X that we reviewed last time is smoother. But I have a feeling that is because of the superior refresh rate of the screen on that phone, which is 72. This phone only has 60 Hz refresh rate, which is by no means slow. But the G2X is just, you can notice it. It just feels a little bit smoother, which I think you know, next few phones that come out are probably going to take advantage of that. This phone does have a 1.2 GHz dual-core Samsung processor with a GB of RAM, which contributes greatly to its speed. At the time that this phone came out worldwide, there have not been too many phones out that had a GB RAM or they were this fast. It's just, I believe that if this phone came out the same time that it came out worldwide, it would have just blown everything out of the water spec-wise in the US. We will get it in a few months, so hopefully we're gonna see just how it stacks up exactly with the phones out right now. But you know what? Just to prove to you how fast this phone is, I'm gonna run a Quadrant Standard. Well, actually, I really ran a Quadrant Standard, and you could see here it got a 3620, and I've never seen a phone this fast. The G2X and the Sensation get around 2400. This is almost 1,000 more. So just to put that into perspective, that's amazing. Another thing. Let me open a game up for you so you could look at the graphics. I'm gonna fast forward to when actually the game starts. Alright, so here you have a racing game, and right away you're gonna see just how good looking the graphics are. It's almost PS2 or Xbox level, and those systems have only been phased out 5 years ago. So just it's quite amazing. Before I also mention how good the speaker was and how loud it was, let me just show you guys. I have the game running, right? This is on the sound at its minimum. Let me pick the sound up. That's minimum. Watch this. That is almost deafening. I could barely hear myself speak. Oh my god. Alright, so yeah, as I was saying, gaming, watch out for that. In the next few years, it's just going to be amazing what these phones are going to be able to accomplish and the level of gaming that we're going to be able to achieve on mobile devices. One thing I do want to show you is the 1080p recording on this phone, and just the camera on this phone is one of the better cameras, definitely better than the G2X. I'm gonna film a video, and I'm gonna cut it into the video on YouTube, so just so you'll be able to appreciate it in full 1080p goodness. Alright guys, here's the view outside my window. Brooklyn, New York. And you could just tell how nice this phone records. Very sharp. Alright, so there it is. Alright, to sum it up, this phone is quite the amazing device. It is lightning fast, super smooth, and its camera is top of the line. However, there are a few things that bother me about it. TouchWiz, the whole part where it's trying to be like the iPhone, like even the 4 icons on the bottom. The whole screen scrolling to the right, like the iPhone, the icons themselves, and the power button being on the side. However, the pros definitely outweigh the cons, and when this phone does eventually come out in the US, I do recommend getting it, because even today, there are not very many phones that could compete with it. So, if you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you guys. Have a great day.